So this here is a little segment. Try to read it right, because sometimes we're going over it. It's like, man, they could have used a little bit more simpler words, but I'll try not to stumble through it. This here, it says, the truth about love in marriages. All right. So it says that love is a complex journey that transcends mere feelings of warmth and happiness. It encompasses, that's what I was trying to get at, it letdowns, hurts, disappointments, rejection, and anger. In other words, love is not only just that feel-goody, all right? Going on here, talking about the feelings with love here. Love is not solely defined by a fleeting sensation. It is a deliberate choice and an unwavering commitment, regardless how we feel. Our emotions can deceive us, lending to misconceptions about love. We often believe that two imperfect individuals can somehow come together in marriage and make perfection. And that is flawed thinking, because two wrongs don't make a right. See, love demands a conscious decision to choose love, regardless of circumstances. And this is a testament to the enduring power of love. All right, so basically, love's not a feeling, it's a choice that we choose. No matter what feelings are going through us, we choose love. Now I'm going to go to Matthew 13. Let's get in the word here. Hear ye therefore the parable of the sower. When anyone heareth the word of the kingdom, and understandeth it not, then cometh the wicked one, and catcheth away that which was sown in his heart. This is he that received the seed by the wayside. Now these are the ones I circled right here that we're going to talk about. But he that received the seed onto the stony places, the same is he that heareth the word, and on none receive it with joy, yet have no root in himself, endureth a while, but when tribulation and persecution arises because of the word, by and by he is offended. So, stony ground. See, the stony ground is the man that had rocks of offense in his heart. Because Jesus said that he had no root in himself, meaning that he didn't have the spiritual discipline in his heart to carry him through tribulation and persecution. But he heareth the word, and anon received it with joy. But by and by, when persecution came, he got offended. So let me ask you this. Is there rocks in your heart? Or is there rocks in your life? The doctors talk about, having kidney stones. Well, do you got heart stones? That's the word this morning what God's trying to ask you. Is there any stones in your heart that is stopping the Spirit of God to work in your life to grow you up into maturity? All right, now remember, we are talking about love here. And love in action. So if we go to Galatians 4, 1 through 7. Now I say that the heir, as long as he is a child, differs nothing from a servant, though he be Lord of all. But he is under tutors and governors until the appointed time of the Father. Even so we, as we were children, being in bondage under the elements of the world. Just a fresh revelation that just stuck out to me. Being in bondage to the elements of this world, That just stuck out to me. But when the fullness of the time came, God sent forth his Son, made of a woman, under the law, to redeem them that were under the law, that we might receive the adoption of sons. Because you are sons, God has sent forth the Spirit of his Son into your hearts, crying, Abba, Father. Wherefore thou art no more servants, but a son. And if a son, then the heir of God through Christ. So a child differs nothing from a servant. We're talking about people that are spiritually immature, differ nothing from a servant. Because in the New Testament, we are sons that serve. We're not servants. We're sons that serve God. Serve our Father in the kingdom. Because a little child differs nothing from a servant because he has to be told what to do. Second by second, don't touch this, don't go here, don't touch that. A servant has to be told what to do. So spiritual maturity has to do with accepting responsibility, knowing what the Father's will is, and doing it even if you wasn't asked If you know to do good and doeth it not, it's sin, isn't it? So it's accepting that responsibility that God has given us. And like I said, remember, we're talking about love here, and it's a choice and a commitment, and you have a responsibility as believers to choose love, no matter the circumstance. All right, so let's go to Luke 6, and this is the main passage that I want to go to, Luke 6:27. And I tell you, get ready for a fresh revelation that's going to set you up and be like, man, I'm going to be storm-proof after this. Get a hallelujah on that? Fresh revelation. Whew, I'm getting excited now. Because when I read that and going through there, and I was like, where has this been all of my life? So simple. How did we miss it? And I feel like I need to say this, even though it does apply. So in Jewish teaching, it was always common to teach in two, give two examples. You know, you have the two sons, you have the sheep and the goats. They always taught in two, which is an important thing to keep in mind, because if you're reading a word, you always want to make sure, okay, which one is he talking about here? Because you don't want to get confused and mistake one for the other. It's an important thing to keep in mind. All right, Luke 6, I'm going to start in 27. But I say unto you, which hear, love your enemies. Do good to them which hate you. And I underlined it here in my Bible. It says, do good. We need to be doing good to those that hate us. Bless them that curse you, and pray for them which despitefully use you. And I don't know what it is. That's something we need to break. I don't know why when something's going on or you get to your last resort and prayer's the last resort. No, we need to make prayer our first resort. Okay, and then he says, bless them that curse you, and pray for them which despitefully use you. And unto him that smiteth thee on one cheek, offer the other. And to him that taketh away thy cloak, forbid him not to take thy coat also. Give to every man that asketh of thee, and of to him that taketh away thy goods, ask them not again. In other words, if he takes it, don't be commanding it back. Let him have it. That's what that says. Don't be making demands like, hey, give me that back. And as ye would that men should do to you, do also to them likewise. You know, Jesus had to throw that in there because you got to think, we have the Bible. We can go back and we've seen it several times. We know how things play out. But if you put yourself there, and if Jesus is standing there telling you this is the first time ever in your life that you are hearing this. That's why he had to put that there, because, if men take things from you, just let them have it. And they're thinking, wow, this is going to be easy to get some free stuff from people. No. Do unto others, you want others to do for you. Well, that kind of short-circuits that. I don't want people stealing my stuff. I guess shouldn't be doing that. And, all right. And if you do good to them, which do good, there's that word again, doing good. All right. What think ye? For sinners also even do the same. And if ye lend to them who ye hope to receive, what have ye? For sinners also lend to sinners to receive much again. In other words, he's talking about lending, and in Proverbs 19:17 it says, whoever is generous to the poor lends to the Lord, and he will repay him for his deed. But love ye your enemies, do good, and lend, hoping for nothing again. And your reward shall be great, and ye shall be the child of the Most High. So Jesus ties this right in on, if you want to be a son in the kingdom, you are going to be doing good to them that hate you. You are going to be blessing them, not cursing them. And going on, and he says, be ye therefore merciful, as your Father is also merciful. Okay, judge not, ye shall not be judged. Condemn not, and ye shall not be condemned. Forgive, and ye shall be forgiven. All right. Give. That's a very important word here. Give. Kind of goes with lending. Kind of goes with doing good. He's talking about giving and doing good. And it shall be given unto you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Hey, we always hear this taught during like an offering service, don't we? Is that what Jesus did right here? Or did he switch and say, all right, guys, we're going to take up an offering, all right. Now, if you give, it'll be shaken down. The same measure you give, it'll be given back to you, shaken down, and running over. No, he didn't, did he? This is tied into context with doing good to them that hate you. blessing and not cursing, give and not expecting anything back. All right? And he spake a parable unto them. He said, can the blind lead the blind? Shall they both fall in a ditch? The disciple is not above his master, but everyone that is perfect shall be as his master. So Jesus ties in that perfection. If you want to be perfect, he's saying do good to them that hate you. That is setting you on the path of perfection, of being a child, being that example of Christ to the world. And going on, 41, say, I think did I skip a verse? Yeah, I did. That's kind of bad. That there is important too. If you go back to 35, I guess I'll just read that start to finish. Don't want to leave nothing out of the Word of God. That's important. But love your enemies, do good, lend hoping nothing again. Your reward shall be great, and ye shall be the child of the Most High God. For he, this is important, for he is kind unto the unthankful and to the evil. That just shows the goodness and the grace of God. And we need to be doing the same. Okay, going on. Like I said, that was a very important part. I don't know how come I skipped that, but that needs to be said. All right, and going to 41. And why beholdest thou the mote that is in your brother's eye, and perceive not the beam that is your own eye? Notice, in context, this is going back to blessing, not cursing, giving unto those that hate you. And then why is he talking about judge not, condemn not, and all of this stuff, and then goes right into and is talking about this beam in your own eye? Well, yesterday when I was sitting there and I was thinking about that, it just hit me. A beam that a lot of people have in their eyes is they like to just judge people. If this person said this to me, and he just went on a rage and I was the focus of his anger, Jesus said you need to bless that person. Not saying kind words, give to that person. So I'm going to tell a story on myself. Get ready. So at work, I work with a guy that it's hard telling how he's going to be that day. One day I got stuck working with him, and I did one little thing wrong, and next thing you know, he's throwing a fit, kicking the trash can, saying this, and just saying this and that, and I finally got mad. I just left my work area. I didn't say anything back to him, but man, I walked away. Man, I was praying in the Spirit, and then the Spirit brought it to my remembrance. No, you need to be blessing, not cursing, because I was just mad. I was just praying in the Spirit. I didn't say anything yet. So finally, I was like, all right, bless him, Lord. Bless him. Bless him, Lord. Just bless him. Oh, yeah, bless him. Oh. And I just walking around bless him. Bless him, Lord. Bless him. Bless him. Oh. And finally, I calmed down. And the day after, I got stuck working with him again. I was working, and he was actually kind of in a happy mood, so I kind of seen the fruits of my prayers there a little bit. I said more than just bless him. And then God spoke to me, and he said, I want you to take out your wallet and give him money. I'm like, Lord, why would I do that? Well, you said bless him. Now bless him. Okay, Lord. I ain't going to fight you. I'm going to do it. So I pulled out my wallet, went over to him, and was like, hey, man, God just told me to give you this, and I just want to bless you. And he was shocked. The look on his face, he was like, what? Yeah, here you go, man. Be blessed. And to this day, his attitude towards me has changed. See, spiritual warfare is not just binding and loosening. Sometimes you got to put action to what you said. Because Jesus said, bless them that curse you. So if I would have just judged by my natural eye, going back to a beam in your eye, if you have an eye of judgment, always looking at your circumstance, that would have never happened. I'd probably still been fighting with that guy today. He still gets angry, but it ain't towards me. This is practical Christianity. Do good to them that hate you. And get ready for some fresh revelation, because we ain't done. Jesus ain't done teaching yet. Well, this is a big book. Chapter 6, I'm talking about chapter 6. I could preach the whole word to you if I wanted to, But anyway, going to, the beam in your brother's eye. All right, 43. For a good tree bringeth not forth corrupt fruit, neither does a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. All right, going into 44. For every tree is known by his fruit. Okay, given unto others, loving. What would you call that? That's fruit. All right. For of thorns men do not gather figs, nor bramble bush gather grapes. But a good man out of the good treasure of his heart bring forth that which is good, and an evil man out of his treasure of his heart bringeth forth which is evil. For of the abundance of the heart the mouth speaketh. All right? And another thing too is, when you give to those that hate you in the moment, when you give to people and just out of just, you know what, I love them, bless them, guess what? Jesus also said, where your treasure is, there your heart be also. Giving is a test of where you're at in your heart. Going back to the stony ground, going back to the rocks, going back to those rocks of judgmental, offense, no root to practice spiritual disciplines. It's all tying together, isn't it? That if you want to make sure that you have a heart soft, when you give to those people that hate you, and you give to those people that say all sorts of nasty things about you, if you find yourself where you struggle to, I can't bless them, you know what they did, then that means you have unforgiveness in your heart towards that person. All right, and get ready. The revelation's coming, if it hadn't already yet. And why do you call me Lord, Lord, and do not do the things I say? Oh, isn't that interesting? You tied right that on in. Blessing, not cursing, give and do good, huh? Whosoever cometh to me and heareth my sayings and doeth them, I will show you to who he's like. All right, let's keep this in context now. He is likened, which is man that built his house, dug deep, and and laid a foundation on a rock. And when the floods arose and the stream beat vehemently upon the house, it couldn't shake it, for it was founded upon a rock. Spiritual disciplines. It was founded on what Jesus was saying right here. All right, but if you heareth these sayings and doeth them not, so if you don't give, if you just walk away, if you just want to judge them and be all this other stuff that the world does and the sinners do just the same, Jesus said, what would he be like? Well, he'd be like a man without a foundation, built his house on the earth. Oh, you know what man was made out of? The earth, dirt, dust. And against which the stream beat vehemently, and immediately it fell, and the ruin of that house was great. You know why the house fell? Because offense took over. If you want to be storm-proof and go through life walking in peace, you got to stay away from offense, because that's the fastest way your house is going to crumble, and the enemy is going to come in, and it's going to be a train wreck. So keeping your heart soft and to loving people, even going back, love is not a feeling. It's not a good, fuzzy, warm feeling. It is a commitment that I'm going to choose, no matter how I feel, to love this person. It's a choice. All right, so let's go on to Galatians 6, 7 to 10. All right, Galatians 6, 7, 10. All right, be not deceived. Well, what's one way of being deceived? Your feelings. You start listening to your feelings. That's one really good way to be deceived. Just tie that in right there. Just think popped in my mind. Be not deceived. God is not mocked. For whatever a man soweth, he shall also reap. For he soweth to the flesh shall also reap, all right, of the flesh reap corruption. Okay? But he that soweth to the Spirit shall of the Spirit also, or he should reap life everlasting. And you're sitting there thinking to yourself, well, blessing them with physical things and money, how am I sowing to the Spirit in that? Well, didn't he say that if you abide in love, you abide in God? Isn't the Spirit love? So when you give to keep yourself from building offense, and you give to just bless that person, see, not only do you get good out of it, but that person gets good out of it, and you're doing it out of love. If you're sowing into love, you're going to reap life. He abideth in love, abides in God. All right, let's go on to Genesis, talking about sowing and reaping here, sowing into people's lives, blessing, not cursing. All right, going to Genesis 26. Because if you let your feelings and circumstances of what's going on in front of you, God has a better word and better ways of doing things. All right, Genesis 26, verse 1. And there was a famine in the land, besides the first famine that was in the days of Abraham. So we're talking about Isaac. So in other words, the land was kind of dry. You want me to plant in here? It's like, it's dry, it's dirt. What's going to produce out of this ground? But guess what? Isaac, he didn't look at his feelings. He didn't look at what his circumstances was around him. Isaac, going in verse 12, then Isaac sowed in that land and received the same year 100-fold, and the Lord blessed him. Isaac, he's like, you know what? against all odds, against all circumstances, I'm going to sow into this dry land, and I am going to be blessed. Well, in conclusion here, I read that it is essential not to be swayed by your circumstance or your opinions of what others hold about you. Instead, make the choice to sow love into their lives of those who may seem unlovable or in difficult situations. Trust in God's ability to bless your acts of love and generosity, even when giving to those who may appear not deserving. Remember that God is the ultimate caretaker and cultivator of our hearts. In John 15, Jesus refers to God as the husbandman. Another word for husbandman is one who tills the soil. And when you choose to give, you show love to others, God can use that gift. So in other words, if you do good, bless them that hate you, God can use that gift to till their hearts also. And even your own heart. God can use that situation to till your own heart. This process prevents offense from taking root and allows for growth and transformation. Be trusting in God's work in both of your lives and the lives of others, and you can experience the profound impact of love and grace. So, dear Heavenly Father, God, I thank you for this word, God. And Lord, like I said, God, let this word just settle down in their hearts, Father, that we may war in this world of darkness, overcome evil with good, and show your kindness and your grace and your mercy to the world, even in the most difficult times.